Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today, the Premier League fixtures have just been released, so I thought what I do today, I'll review the recently promoted teams from the Championship: Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. Three teams I've been heavily analytical in the past year, and I'll tell them about their chances, their first 5 games, their last 5 games, their easiest month and their hardest month. And I tell you what, there are some very interesting mouth-watering fixtures very early on. And of course, I'm going to talk about Chelsea's chances as well. This can't be a Premier League video if I don't talk about my team, Chelsea. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It tremendously helps the channel. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel. If this is the first time seeing this channel, my name is Alex. I do championship content and football content as well. If you have done, please subscribe. It really helps. Our target is to get 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can, so we can do this collab with Benhd, which I think will be epic if it does happen. Please leave a comment because that helps as well. Comment, what do you think of your team's opening fixtures? Of course, for the Championship, they are released tomorrow, and I think I'll do a video on that as well. But if you do support Premier League Club, what do you think of your team's start? Who do you think that's the easiest start? Who do you think that's the most difficult start? What about the run-ins? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So there's definitely some teams have definitely better starts than others. Also, please share the channel. It would really help on your social media to other football YouTubers as well. It really helps me. But rather than any further ado, let's go through the 3 promoted teams and let's talk about their fixtures for next year. So we'll start off with the champions, Leeds. You know, of course, a lot of eyes are going to be on them under Marcelo Bielsa, a very attractive style of football, but it's more to what Norwich just do in just trying to score as many goals as you can. They are very tight defensively, so that's why I'm excited to see Leeds in the Premier League. As their opening 5 games though is a bit of a mixed bag. They do have Liverpool and Man City in their opening 5 games. They actually start off against Liverpool at Anfield. This is a repeat of champions versus champions. The trend has continued to this year because last year it was Liverpool and Norwich really struggled defensively, and that set the tone for the rest of the season. Leeds against Fulham as their second game is key. It's their first home game of the season. If they can take 3 points there, it'll be very interesting to put a comparison on where the 3 teams are at in the Premier League. If Leeds do not pick up 3 points there, I think Leeds can potentially struggle because they do have Sheffield United, a Yorkshire derby this early on. I mean, I'm really excited to see that tie as well. Leeds against Wolves will also not be easy as well, and as I say, against Man City as well in their 4th game. So pretty tough games, quite a difficult run-in to start things off with Leeds, but they do have some winnable games, which I think is very important, especially at home. They need to make their home form count. If they can be as tough at home as they were in the Championship last season, picking up to 25 home wins, I think Leeds can definitely survive in the Premier League. Now we'll look at the last 5 games, and for me, I actually think this is their easiest run-in, their last 5 games. So I think May is their easiest month. They've got Brighton away, they've got Spurs at home, which I think could be tough, but it's a home game, so I think Leeds could be okay. They've got Burnley away, Southampton away, and they end with their fellow promotion rivals West Brom at Elland Road. How important could this game be in the final day of the season? We're just going to have to wait and see. It depends where all the 3 teams are at the end of the season. But to end on West Brom, to end playing a promotion rival, especially if those 2 teams were fighting relegation, that is a crunch game. Definitely some winnable games. I definitely think they could do something against Brighton. They can definitely do something against Burnley for me. Southampton, possibly. So yeah, I actually think May is their easiest month in the whole run-in. With Brighton, going back to them, obviously Ben White's going to be a huge contribution to see if Leeds can survive. Brighton are really holding firm. Ben White has rejected a contract extension, I think, a couple of times now. Leeds have submitted a 3rd bid for him. 25 million, I believe, is the price they submitted for him. Brighton are being very reluctant to let him go. I think Ben White definitely, after rejecting contract offers from Brighton, definitely has his heart set on Leeds. But it's all down to the Brighton board. Do they let Ben White go? Because it sounds like to me that maybe Ben White will be in their plans. They could lose someone like Lewis Dunk. He's been gaining a few interests, including Chelsea quite recently, so maybe that's why they want to keep Ben White. But if Leeds can have a big money offer, I can't see Brighton turning that down anytime soon. Going to Leeds' hardest month though, for me, is April. I've seen a lot of tweets about this already. So listen to this. They go Yorkshire derby against Sheffield United, which will be tight at Elland Road. Man City away, then followed by Liverpool at home, and then followed by Manchester United. I think at that time, Leeds will have to hope to accumulate enough points to survive, because April is a really important time for clubs to try and build up points to give them a bit of a head start in their final 5 games in May. You really want to try and secure survival, or be at least in a good position around that time. The fact they've got really tough games at April, they definitely need to pick up points very, very quickly, Leeds United. West Brom, on the other hand, I actually think they have an easier 5 games than Leeds do by quite some way. They do have a game against Chelsea in that opening 5 games, which I think will be tough for West Brom. They don't have a fantastic record against Chelsea whatsoever. We tend to enjoy playing against West Brom. They do have Leicester in that opening game, which could be tough. They've got Everton away, of course Chelsea at home, which I think is key, Southampton away, and Burnley at home. Definitely some winnable games for West Brom, and I think under Bilic, he's definitely a Premier League standard manager for what he's done with West Ham for his brief stint there. I think West Brom definitely need to capitalise on this good start and get as many points as they can. It does get a little bit more tricky in around mid-October stage going into November. I do say that hardest month is December. I think that will be agreed for a lot of the clubs, because in the festive period you fit 6 games in. But some of the games West Brom have in December are really, really tough. They've got Crystal Palace at home, Newcastle away, Man City away, Aston Villa at home, so a Midlands derby here, Liverpool away, and Leeds at home. So definitely a pretty mixed bag, but the fact you've got Man City and Liverpool in the same month, it's really not forgiving at all. Especially they're both away games as well, and they've got to hope that they don't lose by a big margin potentially. So definitely at that time, hopefully they'll amass some points on the board with those 2 games. Maybe they could be really tight defensively, park the bus a little bit, and maybe hit them on the break. West Brom do have those talented players as well. Hopefully they don't have the likes of Pereira injured or whatever, because definitely he'll be a player with quality to unlock sides like Manchester City and Liverpool. But definitely a home game against Leeds I think is really, really key. Who knows where these 2 sides will be come December time. Maybe one of them, maybe both of them, maybe in a relegation battle. West Brom can get 3 points there. It puts them in a fantastic position for the rest of the season. In terms of the last 5 games, are pretty much a mixed bag as well. Wolves at home, which is another derby. Arsenal away, which can be tough. Then followed by Liverpool at home. So pretty tough period in May. But then they have a home game against West Ham, which I think they will be okay with. And then Leeds away as their final game of the season, which I already said with Leeds can be a deciding factor on the relegation battle, which is absolutely crucial that West Brom put themselves in a great position by that time. If they can get 3 points against Leeds, in fact even beat Leeds at home and away and do the double over them, it definitely puts them in a great position. And I think by that time we would know where the 3 promoted teams are. You know, they could be mountains apart or they could be marginally close. So this could be a crunch game at the end of the season. Last week we go to Fulham. Pretty mixed bag. In fact, if anything, I'm now looking at these fixtures and I thought West Brom had the easiest up, but I actually think Fulham actually might have the best 5 games out of the newly promoted sides, obviously with Leeds having the hardest one. They've got Arsenal at home. Yes, that can be tough. I didn't enjoy playing against Arsenal last time, losing 5-1. But then they have an away game against Leeds, which I think they could definitely fight for something there. As I said, it'll be interesting to see where Leeds and Fulham stand apart in the Premier League with that game. It'll be very telling very quickly. Fulham against Aston Villa, obviously a repeat of the playoff final all the way back in 2018 where Fulham got promoted. Then they've got Wolves away, which yeah might be tough, but then Sheffield United at home, which is about 50-50 where I think they can get some points in. But honestly, I think that's pretty much the best 5 games I think I've seen. Although Wolves and Sheffield United did finish in the top half, so maybe, now if I think about it, maybe West Brom do have a better game. They do have the likes of Southampton and Newcastle in their opening 5 games, and Palace. So I think maybe West Brom may have the easiest one, Fulham's the second hardest, but then Leeds with the hardest 5 games. In terms of the easiest month, I do have to say I think it's September, their opening 5 games, which of course is the first 3 games, Arsenal, but then Leeds, but then Aston Villa. I think that's the easiest month that Fulham have got. In terms of the hardest month, I think it's going to be December once again. They've got Man City away, Liverpool at home, back to back. That is very mean on any club. Then they've got Brighton at home, which I think will be okay. Newcastle away, You don't know, maybe Newcastle could have a good season. Southampton at home, where they have struggled to play against Southampton in recent years, but then ending it away against Spurs, which will not be easy. It's a London derby as well. Definitely because of the 3 games against the supposed top 6 sides, that is why I'm putting December as the hardest month for Fulham. Definitely they could get some results. I look at that Brighton game thinking that they can get something. Newcastle potentially. Southampton maybe at home. Fulham could be very strong, although they have struggled, as I said, against Southampton in recent years. But now we look at their last 5 fixtures. Blimey, they do have some tough games, although it will be a mixed bag. They've got Chelsea away, Burnley at home, which they had a fantastic game against Burnley last time they were in the Premier League, Southampton away, Man United away, but then they end on a home game versus Newcastle. As I said, Fulham could be 1 point above the relegation zone, 1 point in the relegation zone. The fact they got a home game and it's against Newcastle as well, which I would say maybe they'll be either fine for relegation or maybe at that time they may be a mid-table side with not much to play for. That is a very important game for Fulham actually, and I think this will have a lot of significance. It's a mixed bag because Chelsea and Man United will definitely give them a tough test, but I look at Burnley, I look at Newcastle thinking there's 2 winnable games for Fulham. It's intriguing to say the least. And as I said, Chelsea fan here, so I'm going to go through my first 5 fixtures, the hardest month, the easiest month, and the last 5 games. So for the first 5 games, we have Brighton away, where we drew 1-1, Liverpool at home, which I think is going to be the eye-catching game of that week, West Brom away, Crystal Palace at home, and Southampton at home. If you look at these games, you know, we've had pretty good records against all 5 of these sides. I say the 2 sides we've only lost to, though, have been Liverpool and Southampton. But we've got Brighton away. We drew 1-1 against them last time. Of course, Yabak scoring that backheel goal in the final few minutes of the game still grinds my gears how we gave that away. But at Brighton, we've got a very strong record against them, so that's not a bad start for us. Liverpool as well. It'll be an interesting test to see where Chelsea are with the new signings we've got with Werner. We've got Ziyech at the moment. We could potentially get some defenders. We've been linked with Thiago Silva recently. Ben Chilwell looks like he could be going to Chelsea. Kai Havertz, I've been hearing it's really close at the moment. Who knows what the Chelsea squad's going to look like by September the 12th. But I'm excited for the opening 5 games. I think it's definitely a better 5 games than we had last time. We had Manchester United away on the opening day, and that just completely knocked us sideways. We then had Leicester as well, which was mean as well, and we also had Liverpool at home in our first 5 games as well. And in fact, we do have Liverpool in the first 5 game in this game as well, but I do think we'll be more prepared. In terms of the easiest month, I'm going to say November. We only have 3 games. We have Sheffield United at home, Newcastle away, and Spurs at home. We picked up 2 wins out of those 3 games last year. Of course, the 1 game we did lose was Newcastle away. Disgraceful how we threw it away. But I think with the improved squad depth and quality, and maybe Newcastle potentially struggling, we don't know what Newcastle are going to be like next season. This could be a really good month for Chelsea to get a run together going into December. Of course, having 6 games in December, we have a pretty tough December. I know we have Arsenal away in December, so potentially we could put on a run together in around November, December time, maybe push up high in the table. Now with the hardest month, I'm actually going to say it's May. Our final 5 games for me is our toughest run-in. We have Fulham at home, which I think could be okay. It will be an interesting atmosphere, especially if fans can go back at that time. We still are uncertain when fans can return to stadiums, but hopefully it will be soon. But we're followed by Man City away, which is mean. Then followed by Arsenal at home. Those 2 games are really tough for the end of the season, but can be telling where Chelsea are. Let's say we're in the top 2 or top 3 at that time. These are potential banana skin games, but if we could get a maximum of 6 points on those 2 games, we could be putting ourselves in a fantastic position. Then we have Leicester at home, which is no easy trip under Brendan Rodgers, and then Aston Villa away to end it off, where Aston Villa did make it quite difficult for us. Definitely can see some winnable games in there, and definitely some really tough games, but I'm really excited for the Premier League season, as you can tell. So to go through who I think has the nicest run-in at the start of the season out of the 3 promoted sides, I'll say West Brom have the nicest, Fulham have the second nicest, but Leeds have the toughest. And I think those 5 games will be very telling to see how these 3 sides will perform. But let's just say I'm so excited to see how those 3 teams will get on. But I'm even more excited about the Championship fixtures being released tomorrow. I think you will see me do a reaction video on that as well. If you guys like what you see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel for more content. It will be really appreciative. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can for the collaboration with Benhd. And please share the channel to your social media. Any Championship footballer and YouTuber, share my name out there in what extent you can. All of that would really make my day. Comment as well, what do you think of the Premier League fixtures? What do you think of the Championship fixtures? Who would you like to have in your first game, and who would you like in your final games of the season? I'll be interested to know. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video, and as always, take care guys.